Welcome along to Matchbook's daily Cheltenham update. It's day 3. It's Thursday. I'm joined by Matchbook's Micheál, Deasy, and regular Matchbook betting podcast analyst Sam Turner. Sam, how's the first 2 days been for you, mate? Tough one yesterday?
Yes, in a way. Manila Indo was a little bit of a painful experience, as it was probably for many people. Obviously, the first winner sort of found itself. The each-way plays in the race didn't yield anything, so that was a bit of a negative. But Easy's Land was positive. And Manila Indo would have just been, I think if you escape from Cheltenham with a couple of winners on the day, you're more than happy, almost no matter what the price, to be honest. But that was a chastening experience, unfortunately, the champ race.
Well, we're not going to talk about the champ race too much with Deasy here because we already got the smokiness last night. So, Deasy, I'm not even going to talk about that. Talk to me about overnight market movers. Have there been many?
Well, if I went to talk about champs, son.
That was yesterday. Let's move on. Day 3.
So we've had a few significant market movers overnight. So as we were doing the podcast last night, the preview one, Sam Crow had been backed into favouritism for the Marsh. We were all talking about that. Now, overnight, there's been a big move again for Faheen. Faheen sits at the top of the market at 4.8. Now, he was actually 4.3 when I came in this morning, so a bit of a drift. Sam Crow has started in at 5.3. The per temps, all the money has been for the storyteller to pretty much the detriment of everything else. Best back horse in the race by a country mile. Bit of each way money for a great few and 2-way Permy at bigger prices. There could be a bit of smart money there. The Ryanair Plutard is surprisingly weak. Plutard has been on the drift. Min is the money horse in that. The stairs, not a whole pile going on the stairs, obviously enough with Paisley Park. The Mayor's Colorivi is a big mover. Colorivi is now into joint second favouritism at about 5.0. The plate, again, not too much happening in the plate. Simply the bets is very solid at the top and looks a cracking bet for the day. And in the Kimmuir, there's been a big move for LeBroil, probably since Sam Turner put him up last night. He's now favoured ahead of Champagne Platinum, and there has been a bit of money for Kilfilm Cross as well, who ran a cracker on it last year.
There you go, Sam Turner. Moving markets already made. Right, let's let's dive straight into the Marsh, guys. Obviously, pretty fascinating overnight market here. DC, you want to talk us through those prices? I think you alluded, obviously, Faheen is a warm favourite here.
You can see there, Faheen is top of the market at 4.8. Then you have Sam Crow 5.4. Itchy Feet is 6.0. Mr. Fisher is 8.0. Mellon is 16.0. Tornado Fleur is 17.0. But Palm is 24.0.
Sam Turner, you guys are obviously the experts here, but for me, I think I want to be taking on the top two in the betting here, Faheen and Sam Crow, surely.
Well, they both look as though they've got a hole in them, don't they? I mean, I know the Irish have got a great record in this, so you boys will be cheerleading for these two. But Faheen didn't jump particularly well, I didn't think, around Leopardstown, still won. His quality got him through. Battle over Doyen jumped much better than him all the way around, and for some reason wilted late on. I mean, he ran a lot better yesterday. I just can't help feeling that, and I'll probably be proved wrong here with massive egg on the face, but that Willie Mullins has got it wrong here and not run Allaho in this. Because I think the way that he ran in an RSA, you'd have to say that he'd have gone very, very close in a Marsh chase. Sam Crow's obviously Davy Russell on first time over fences, had a little bit of tinkering with his wind as well, so that could help him. The drying ground won't be a problem either, I wouldn't have thought. So of the two, I'm almost a little bit more positive about Sam Crow than I would be Faheen, even though Faheen's beaten him 12 lengths at Limerick. I'm going to go down the GB route here with Itchy Feet and Mr. Fisher. I think Mr. Fisher each way is a very fair bet here, really. You know, he's got the pace for 2, stays 2.5 very well, travels well. His jumping has been pretty sound as well, which you can't say about all of these. So I think I'll probably have him. And I might have Midnight Shadow on side as a decent sort of win and place bet at bigger prices as well, just because, you know, he's got a couple of good figures in the book. I imagine he's going to go relatively close here, so I'd be disappointed if he didn't. So, you know, I think it's a fair bet, really, that Mr. Fisher will probably make the frame, and I'll probably be worried about Itchy Feet a little.
DC, we've no problem taking on the Irish in this one, surely.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be with Faheen at that price if he was up there about your 8 or 9.0. I might have an each way bet them. I would be interested in Sam Crow because I thought that there was a significant move from yesterday, and the drying ground. Sam Crow keeps running in heavy ground. I don't think he likes that at all. I think if this is erring on good to soft, it might be massively in his favour. But I have been with Mr. Fisher from a long way out in this. I think he has drifted because himself and Itchy Feet have drifted a small bit because all the money has gone in the top two. So they are now at nice prices. I think you can't go wrong with an E-Trade bet on Mr. Fisher or Itchy Feet. So I'm going to mainly Mr. Fisher. I'm going to stick with him.
All right, let's move on to where we go next. Is the Ryanair 14. Deasy, talk me through the betting here.
So Plutaris, scroll on a bit there. So Plutaris top of the market at 2.86, out from about 2.4 early on yesterday. Now, Min is 3.35. He's been backed in from, he was about 4.3 yesterday. Frodan is 7.0. Then you have Riders and the Stormers 13.0. Duke de Genève last year's Arkle winner is 23.0. St. Calvados 24.0. Shattered Love is 30.0. And ASO is 32.0.
Sam Turner, surprised the drift here at Plutar?
Is it a drift, or is it more that the money's come for Min? I mean, yeah, I suppose it is a little bit disconcerting. But to be fair, when you've got a horse that's been favourite for a race for a number of weeks in the anti-post market, I think people sometimes just get a little bit jaded of looking at that market. It becomes a bit stagnant, and then they get to the morning of the race and they start looking for horses at bigger prices. I can understand the case for Min, certainly. I'm not sure how he's going to be ridden. He's probably a horse that, you know, has posted his best efforts really for me when he's been aggressively ridden. Obviously, you know, that day at Aintree where he beat Politilo 20 lengths, that's probably his marquee performance in recent times. And obviously everybody saw the events of yesterday and they probably jumped on that bandwagon. If he's going to be ridden aggressively, you've then got ASO, you've then got Frodon, you know, any number of horses that like to force it and race prominently. And I think that'll set it up for a Plutard. I just think he'll just sit off the pace, and he's got that 2 mile speed and 2 mile 5 stamina. You know, the times that he's been doing this winter have been terrific. He's had an 11-week break to freshen up. He's already won round the track. Stable are in good nick, providing he's travelled over okay, eaten up and drunk. You know, I can't see any reason why he won't run a massive race for me. And I think more 15 to 80. He's almost edging to a price where I back him now. I've been reluctant to play him so far this week because, you know, 7 to 4, it's neither here nor there really. I know that's a rather throwaway line, but it's not a great price in a grade 1 when you've got quality horses in against you. But, you know, now he's sort of edging past the 2 to 1 mark, perhaps on the machine, and that's of interest to me.
DC, I'm thinking you're going to concur on this. Yeah,
especially if his price goes out. I mean, if he hits 3.0 on the exchange, I think he'd be a cracking bet. I just like, if you look back at his performance last year, that was one of the performances of the festival. She won that. I haven't got it in front of me there now, but she must have won that race by 10 or 12 lengths. An absolute 16. Mm. Like, that's an unbelievable performance. If she keeps drifting, I'll be going. I have her backed in a few doubles and things like that, like, but I would be going in again, I'd say, if it goes above 3.0.
Going in again. Okay, I like that. Yeah, it's a funny market, these, isn't it? I mean, like Sam touched on there, it might be just a case of the support for Min, and, you know, Frodon might see a few friends in the market as well, and look, more the better if you want the better price than a Plutar. I think Frodon will definitely be back later. I think that Frodon is probably, if you're into the trading, I'd say take his price now, because he could go off 5.0 later, and Frodon will go off out in front as well. You'll definitely have a trading out opportunity with him. Whether he will, I think this might be a better race this year, and they won't let him get too far ahead. I think he just got the run of them last year. Brian gave him a great ride, and I don't think he'll have the chance to do that this year. So, yeah, all for Appletard though. All for Appletard. Okay, let's drive on to the Stayers Hurdle. At least you want to show us some betting here, man? Paisley Park leading the way. Paisley Park was 1.714, Somerville Boys 12.0, Emma Thomas 14.0, Penhill is 17.0, Apples Jade 16.5. Then you have City Island at 23.0, Ronald Pump is 30.0, and then there's big prices the rest of them. DC, I'll say what you hear for this one. I mean, look, obviously, it's to no one's surprise Paisley Park is the festival banker for many, but when does the price start getting too short there? Because it already seems to be kind of that way, that we're getting towards 1.6 mark. I think he might have actually drifted out a small, but I'm sure he was under 1.68 or something last night. Look, I have no interest in betting in the win market in this. I'll be going either in the without market or the place market, and I put up 2 horses there last night, Ronald Pump and the Jam Man. I'm sticking with them without.
And definitely, and also in the place market, I'll definitely have Randall Pump to win in the without market, and the Jam Man to place. Because massive odds. I think you have to play this with something with big odds that might hit the frame.
Okay, so what kind of price are you thinking there? I think it's probably still a small bit early for us to have it up there, but if there are
no prices yet, the Randall Pump is going to be about 7.0, 8.0 without him, and the Jam Man is about, I think, 26.0. So.
Okay, Sam, not exactly a punty man's price here with Paisley Park, but would you be following a similar approach at Deasy to play in the without market?
Yeah, I've backed Ronald Pump in the without market, and if you're asking for one, probably of the more probably viable contenders, City Island was a horse we covered quite extensively in last night's pod, and he would probably be the one that could jump from left field. But trouble with this race and in past races where you used to have a big bucks or an Ingoldsdriver or whatever, you're searching around for an each way bet. More than likely, unless disaster strikes, Paisley Park's certainly going to be in the 3. You've only really got 2 places to aim at, and you're on vastly inferior horses, really, aren't you? If, all things being equal, this race is run time after time after time. Paisley Park, wins most of those renewals. There's a case for saying that 8 to 11 isn't too bad, actually. He's done very well to win 2 small field trial races this year, races that shouldn't have suited his style of racing. This field, stronger face, more of a generated gallop, that should be ideal for him, really. The long run from 2 to 1, we know that suits him ideally. So at 8 to 11, I don't actually think he's a bad bet if you're looking at that sort of thin end of the market for your doubles and trebles or whatever. But we're scrabbling around trying to find one to beat him, and there's nothing in here with the form to beat him. We're just hoping that he has enough on off day, underperforms quite markedly, and we can then step up with something from left field. And Ronald Pump is at least a young horse going the right way. He ran really well in that Pertemps qualifier that threw up good figures at Leopardstown over Christmas, so he would probably be just top of my list.
Yeah, big price currently a Matchbook at 30.0 for Ronald Pump. Right, gentlemen, rather than going through all of the other races and the handicaps, I just want to get a couple of maybe any other bets from different races. DC, I'll kick off with you. Anything else elsewhere catching your eye?
I was like, I know Sam is kind of strong enough in Sire of Burley and in the Pertemps, I think Sire of Burley, and he's out to drift now. Nice, but no, he's a cracking winning place betting that. I think he could definitely hit the top 5. I went for Bob Mahler as well in the Kim Muir. He's a nice big price as well. I'll be backing him with a winning place, but I think he's about. Let me have a quick look here. He is 21.0 now, so a small bit of money for him overnight. Going right when I think Simply the Bets has been backed at the expense of everything in the plate. He looks like a plot job if there ever was one. So I'll be trying Simply the Bets, the Storyteller, and LeBroy into a patent today as well, I think.
Nice. Okay, that's the DC's patent for today. Don't forget, you can check out Micheál DC's 9 other bets. If you got 9 bets in total, Insight.matchbook.
9 today, but I called most of them out already. So
perfect. That's great. Yeah, small more detail there. Sam, anything else catching your eye from elsewhere?
Yeah, really interesting day. I'm going to play a couple at decent prices. I think probably one of the main bets I've had is in the Mares race. I backed Concertista yesterday after Black Tears ran so well in the Coral Cup. Concertista was second at last year's festival, was 4th to Black Tears at Leopardstown, shaped as though she's coming into some form. I think she's fairly rock solid at around the 5 to 1 or the 6.0 mark in that race. I like LeBroy in the last race, obviously touched on that. Can pass on a good message as well for Bob Mahler. I know the owner of that, and this has been the plan for a while. Headgear's gone on. They've booked Noel McFarlane again, who obviously rode Mr. Approach a couple of years ago, so they're very sweet on his chance. Side of Burley, I think, is overpriced now. I think he's drifting to a really perceivable bet. Sort of double figures for him, or 8, 9, 10 to 1 for him would be, quite encouraging, really. I thought he ran really well at Warwick last time. He had no possible chance of getting into 4th at one point in that race and managed to qualify for this. And I think the blinkers for the cheap piece is an interesting angle. And in the Simply the Bets race, the 410, could certainly see why all the money's come for him. They could have easily gone to the Marsh Chase. They've instead gone down the handicap route. So everybody's seen that. Everyone thinks that he's well handicapped. Everyone's seen the Imperial Aura form. And, I could understand why he's at the head of the market. I do think Happy Diva is a massive, massive price for a really, really talented mare who obviously won a prestigious handicap round Cheltenham before Christmas. Finally got some compensation for a series of very creditable efforts. She didn't run at all badly at Ascot. It was in a bog last time. She got beaten by horses that are probably slightly better right-handed than her, and she'd come off the back of that Cheltenham run, and that was real war of attrition in winning that race, beating Brelondar. So I think she's like 20 or 25. Deasy tell me that, you know, what sort of price she is. I think that's a massive price for a mare who operates well around Cheltenham. You know, in a very open race. I think she's well overpriced.
She's 34.0, and I tell you now, I was really considering sticking her up in the but the only thing negative I thought was that maybe the drying ground might go against her. She's up to pounds that bet for the Gold Cup, but I at 33.0 I couldn't put anyone off backing her, especially if you can get 5 places in it. There's a few nice horses there at kind of down in the bigger prices that can go well. I've backed Clondalk Castle kind of anti-post for it. He's after drifting massively in price. I don't think Tom George's horses are going, but I wouldn't mind seeing him sneaking into the top 5 as well.
All right, guys. Let's move on to best bet of the day. If I could only offer you one selection each, chances are we may be placing more than one bet today. Just maybe a hunch. Deasy, what's the best bet of the day for you, Sam?
Gonna go for a big one. I'm gonna stick up a double and Storyteller and LeBroy.
All right, okay.
So that not only pays for your wife's new cooker, that'll do the kitchen as well, won't it, Deasy?
That'll pay for a new fringe for me as well, Sam. Hopefully.
You'll be off to Turkey when they lift those travel restrictions, won't you?
We go there and stay out there for a while.
I think Champ and Barry Geraghty already paid for the cooker, Sam. So he'll be fine for self-isolation. Sam, what are you thinking our best bet of the day, man?
If you ask me the one horse that I think will win today, it's A Plus Tard. But I'd be happy probably for more of a sporting bet for LeBroy in the last race. We'll save it for the last, and fingers crossed Jamie Cobb can do the job again.
Yeah, the Codfather in the last race of the day, where we heard that one before. Okay. Sam, I think it may be a while before we're chatting again, mate. I just have this hunch that racing at Aintree and elsewhere will be possibly postponed. We just don't know. There's a lot of unknowns in the next couple of days. It's obviously changing by the hour at the moment. But thanks for all your help during Cheltenham. Been an absolute pleasure. Deasy, we'll be back tomorrow for Gold Cup Day with Mr. Declan Ricks. And what are we betting the over and under on the F-bombs here, Sam? What do you think? And it's a morning broadcast.
I'll be a buyer at 65, I think. Depends if Ricks has been out the night before.
Yeah, we might as well go for broken that when I was talking to Sully about that already.
Yeah, could be the last one for a while. Thanks for joining us today. Best of luck with your day 4 bets, and we'll chat to you same time tomorrow morning. Go well.